This is Robert Merdlacci, the Mindshare Learning Report, Canada's Learning Technology e-magazine. And welcome to This Week in Canadian EdTech Mindshare TV. We have a very special guest with us, Amanda Rose, who's an educator at Tompkin Road Middle School, last year's Schools of the Future Challenge first prize winners, who's going to share her secrets to success and tips on entering the Schools of the Future Challenge. Amanda, thank you for joining me today.
No problem. It's nice to talk to you again.
Well, it has been a while, and since we last talked, you won our challenge. You got a whole host of classroom, renewal
Yep.
prizes and tech. And how have you been since we last talked? Pretty exciting times post-COVID in many ways.
It's been amazing. It's been really great. The fact that we came back to a new year with all this new tech, and my new class got to see what the other class did last year. They were so inspired and motivated right from the beginning. So it's been great. It's gone fast.
It really has. I think when we were on a warm-up chat, you mentioned that it was one of the fastest years yet, and I feel the same way.
Yeah, I agree. I think the fact that we have extracurriculars back now, and I find that really helps the school year go by. The kids are so engaged that it's not really time to sit, and it just flies.
And so here's something to engage kids. This year we tweaked it a little bit. Last year it was an innovation challenge. Now we made it an invention challenge aligned with the sustainable development goals. Really, it's about kids giving kids agency to solve real world problems, much like you did last year. And talk to me a bit about how you learn about the inspiration and what's the school, the response of the school and the district, and how it's impacted you personally and professionally.
So I have always from the very beginning sort of disliked research projects with my kids. And I keep saying, I could look that up, but I know that they need to know the information. So from the very beginning, probably about 10 years ago, in all of my big inquiry projects, at the very end, I added it's called a now what. But now that you've done the research, what do you think? Like, what do you think should be done? And then now let's do it. Like, let's make it, let's design it, let's build it, let's contact somebody. And that's just really stuck with me. And it's by far been my favorite part of every year, because that's where I get to see the actual kids learning and engaged, and not a research project per se. So that's how it kind of started last year. And every year it grows a bit more with all the tech. So we have like our 3D printer. We have all the new tablets that we got, the Wacom tablets from you guys.
You got some Dell technologies as well that you're actually using it right now, and you can't show us. But
so we're using all of this stuff again this year for these new challenges. And every year I think I've seen innovation from my students in grade 6, and every year I'm blown away by what they show us. So
the classroom of the future, what you have and what I saw, and you clearly have the growth mindset, and you came into this a little later in your career, did you not? From what I recall.
I remember.
Tell us about that. Tell us what the tipping point was for you in embracing tech-infused pedagogy, if you will.
So I was asked by my principal at the time, Julie Dureau, to switch into this science kind of technology program. And I almost said no, I didn't want to. I just felt that you had to know it yourself to teach it. I was a perfectionist, and I needed to know the curriculum and teach it the way I understood it. And she kind of threw me in, and I absolutely loved it, and discovered very quickly that I really don't need to know anything as long as I set the kids up for success, put it in their hands, structure lessons, and kind of motivate them. And that was about 6 years ago now. And every year I'm trying to get something new. I'm doing something new. I'm finding something new. So
that's congratulations and kudos to you for taking that, courageous leadership and leap of faith and putting yourself out there with the kids. And when you give kids agency, it's incredible what they can accomplish, isn't it?
Absolutely.
As we saw in your video.
They actually surprise themselves. They keep looking at me like, I get to do that? Like, you want me to actually go do it? I'm like, yes, let's go do it. Let's go contact somebody. And you know, they think, well, I'm just a kid. And we learn about that all year. We talk about, you know, Greta and all these children who are actually changing the world. So
there you are.
exciting. Yeah, they're so excited. Oh, I love those guys.
Yeah, and so you know what? That's quite a group of students. How many students do you have in your class?
It's 2 classes. So I have
two
two classes of about 27 that we switch. So I didn't want to do it with just one class because it was my whole curriculum. So I made sure that classes got to do it.
Tell us about paint a picture for us in terms of your classroom design thinking. We talk about classrooms of the future, and one of the epiphanies I had when I was away this past week, I took a few days because it's important to focus on well-being. So I took a few days with my family and we got down to Arizona, and it struck me that one of the things we weren't emphasizing enough is for kids to reimagine the classroom of the future, and it's part of this contest.
I think that's really important. I think so 2 parts. One, I feel like kids need to be social,
Right.
and they need to talk. And we were finding during COVID and COVID times that they were all, you know, at their desk, at their computer, not talking, not communicating, not collaborating. So a lot of the time the kids will say, can we play video games? And I'll say, only if the whole class can play together in the same world at the same time, because I want you collaborating. And
Payload from class 713, please report to the main office.
So
you are in a school, so
in a school.
no worries about the announcement. And that momentarily interlude.
So I know that video games and, you know, that kind of gameplay is part of the future, but I want kids to use it as a tool instead of just a game. And you and I were chatting, but I actually, because of this contest, met somebody who was created, you know, an esports team for Minecraft and other activities. And so I contacted him after learning about him from this contest, and he helped me set up an esports team and an esports club at our school. And now we are enrolled in a Minecraft video game challenge on cybersecurity. So that's how I see the future going, is just keep learning. Keep pushing them.
That's amazing. And you last year, and I'm going to share my screen once again, and we'll get this. We'll just show the little bit of the video of your school for some inspiration for this year's entrance. So we just launched a week or so ago the Schools of the Future Challenge, and the response, as always, is, you know, generating a lot of excitement and giving teachers an opportunity to try something different and new with their students. And so are you seeing my screen?
Yep.
There you are. There's your
school. And I was also saying, I know that a lot of schools don't have things like 3D printing, but they don't need to, as long as they have, you know, Tinkercad to design. That's all they need. So
yeah, how does it feel to be watching it?
Oh my God. Well, the students made it. The students did it. So I'm just like a proud mom at the end of this.
You know, I love, you know, your connection to the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yeah, they have to link it. We were just talking about that today, actually. And the kids know so much about Sustainable Development Goals, but to link it to tech.
My inquiry topic was what is the plastic crisis and how might it eventually affect the health and economy?
You know, it was so well done. And, you know, this year, once again,
it's related to,
you know,
we're SDG goal number 14,
aligning with the Sustainable Development Goals.
This is my finished product using Tinkercad.
You know, the challenge this year is for them to create and invent 3D something
designs.
and solve a problem.
Of 5
Invention versus innovation.
I agree.
With a net in the middle.
Does that make sense?
Plastic from the ocean.
I think kids really can thrive off invention. I think it's something, they know the word, they know how to do it.
It really is about relatability, isn't it?
100%. Oh, it makes me so excited to do it again this year. So
yeah, well, the kids are so lucky to have you, and you know that you know hands-on learning, project-based learning really is a trend that's not going to go away, is it?
No, and it has to be a combo. It's not Like
created
it
a
has to
drone
be
that
some
that
explicit
flies places
teaching. We
in
had full
forests
teaching
where
lessons
trees are
today.
mostly
Not it wasn't as hands
where it
on.
sees a place where trees are
And
needed.
then I
It
just
goes
give
and
them
drops
freedom
seeds
after
into
that.
this
So
little
it
clearing
is has to
down
be a good
here,
combo of the
and it
two.
drops the seeds so the trees will
Any
plant.
advice
After
you can
that, the water and
offer
sun will do the rest.
teachers in planning or having the courage to submit to the contest?
I think honestly, putting it in the hands of the kids. I think if you gave this contest to them and had them brainstorm, the things that they would come up with without even you having to do anything at the time, it would be mind-blowing, because you don't actually need crazy technology. You don't need a 3D printer. You don't need all this. All of this is available on web-based platforms that we all have access to. And you made that point, getting technology in the hands of people who don't have it. So collaborate, ask for help, just play. That's how we started, is just playing.
So fun. And they're having fun while they're learning.
Absolutely.
How important is it to infuse the joy of learning? It's Dean Sharetsky wrote the book.
Is your website bounce rate sky high? Find out why with Hotjar.
I think it's really
Hotjar shows you how people
because-
interact.
Yeah, that's perfect. The more I was, explicitly teaching, and I could tell some kids were kind of zoning out a bit. And so I stopped what I was doing and say, okay, you teach it to each other. Like, I'm done. You know it. Let's talk to each other. And as soon as they can talk, they open up and they kind of like, they're smiling and laughing. And sometimes noise, we want to stop it. But that's where they learn the most, is when they're chatting and sharing perspective.
Isn't it almost counterintuitive?
Absolutely.
Well, kudos to you for the success you had in winning first prize.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. We've been so lucky. We have all this,
Well, I can't wait to come and visit again.
You have to come. We have some really fun things.
See it in action, and you coincidentally you're just like 10 minutes away from our office, which is awesome.
Great.
So we will definitely plan to visit.
Sounds
Any
great.
final thoughts to share, Amanda Rose, with our network?
Just keep learning, keep growing, and let the kids have fun. Let them showcase what they know, and encourage them to give a little bit more. That's how I feel.
Well said. Thank you again, Amanda.
Thank you. Nice talking to you.
Likewise, that was Amanda Rose, educator at the Tompkin Road Middle School in the Peel District School Board, last year's Schools of the Future Challenge first prize winner. My name is Robert Mertolacci, the Mindshare Learning Report. Be sure to check out www.mindshare learning to learn more about our Schools of the Future 15th or 16th year edition. And until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep the learning curve steep.